Well, hello. How are you all doing? It's Sunday morning right here, though with the speed of my internet, you probably won't be seeing this for a couple of days. We are, right now, it's about 80 degrees. I don't think it's going to get any hotter, though, in the next few days. I believe we're going to go through a huge heat wave, a 3-day heat wave. So far, we've been lucky here. It's been in the 80s these last few days, 70s, 80s. I can deal with about up to 85. Then I can't deal with it, but I have to deal with it. Unfortunately, we're in the middle. Being my county's okay, but California is having a huge fire, the Corral Fire. It's about a couple hours from my house south, 2 or 3 hours, but they are doing evacuations already, and I am hoping that this is not the start of a terrible fire season. I'm not quite sure why it got out of control so quickly. They're just having a terrible time bringing it in. We've had a couple of fires up here these last couple of days, but they were able to squish them pretty quickly. They've got this fire control thing down to really an art with the airplanes, the helicopters, the response. I think all of the lessons of the last few years of terrible fires have really brought things forward. However, sometimes these fires go crazy and there's nothing anyone can do about them except just fight them. It's just a terrifying, terrifying thing. I still have to do some fire prevention up here. I like to let all of my wild grass and everything grow because it has a lot of flowers. It nourishes the birds, it nourishes the bees, nourishes all the ecosystem here. And we had our last big rain about a month ago, and we are done raining, so everything's drying out now, at least on the upper part of the property. It's all drying out now. So I have somebody coming in on Monday to give me an estimate, taking it all down. So I'm excited about getting that down and also in meeting a new vendor. The thing is with my property, I sort of have two parts of it. The up part, the top part, is fed by the rain and some underground springs. So that part has grown, it has bloomed, and once the rain stopped, it started dying out. Other part of the property down a little bit towards the creek is fed by underground springs. So that area is just flourishing because we had so much rain and there's a lot of groundwater. And so things I chopped down a few weeks ago are already coming back, and it's time for the big machines there, either a mower or major weed whackers. I have done some weed whacking here on the property. There's certain areas I need to get to, and I weed whacked paths to them so I could get there without walking through all this tall grass, you know, to avoid snakes, to avoid ticks, even though I did find a tick on myself. It just seemed like the best thing to do. So I'm looking forward to them coming in and just doing a major cleanup, both up here where it's dry and down there where it's wet. I've spoken about this hog I saw a few weeks ago, and the fact that they are around here, and part of the reason for cutting everything back, at least at the bottom part where it's all green, is not only to maximize the amount of area to walk around and enjoy the property, but also to eliminate hiding spots for hogs and other animals. I'm not feeling too bad about it, you know, about destroying a habitat, because my backyard backs up to thousands of acres of forest and a huge mountain, and you know, they can just cross the little road behind my house and just go on forever. So they just need to move on. That's all. I can't have anything here that could be potentially dangerous to myself or others, and wild hogs definitely fall into that category. So he's going to come tomorrow. We'll look at the property. He'll send me an estimate. We'll get that done, and I will feel a lot better. Once it's all done, I don't need to do it again till next year. So that's good. I am having a little problem here. It's going to sound ridiculous. My remote broke. So I went to Walmart to get another remote. I have Roku, and I cannot get the remote to link up to the TV. I have spent a good amount of time looking up how to do it. You have to put in a code. You have to put the code in a certain way. If that code doesn't work, there's backup codes and backup codes. I've used all the backup codes. I'm wondering if my internet service is too slow at the times when I've been doing it for it to catch. So it's been a little bit of a annoyance because I usually watch YouTube and listen to music and everything on the TV. And I do have the remote on the app, the Roku app on my phone, but I like having a separate remote. So that has been my struggle. I finally decided what I'm going to do is maybe when this guy comes over this week, is the next time a man is here, I'm going to have a man look at it and get the remote going, because it's been my experience that men have like a special relationship with remotes. I do not have a special relationship with remotes, evidently. So I'm going to have a guy come in there and they'll fuss with it till it works. I also have a couple of cans of items I got at the hardware store that I also can't open because there's some, you press down, you turn left. I don't know, not my thing. So I have those also right by the entry. So when somebody comes in, I'm just going to have them go for it. Just fix the remote, open these containers, and you are released. What do you do when you have these problems, when you can't open things if you live alone? Or if you can't work the remote? Do you have a go-to person to help you with that, or have you worked that out in-house? I have not worked that in-house. There are certain things I'm good at. There are certain things I'm not good at, and at this point I know the difference. I've been busy baking this morning. Before my channel was known as My Mountain Home and Kitchen, it was known as Cheap and Easy Cooking, and I was specializing in cooking, things from Dollar Tree and just cooking things that did not cost a lot of money to make. And one of the things I do from time to time is I take a mix, like I did cornmeal muffin mix, Jiffy, and I made it with just water. If you didn't happen to have eggs or milk or whatever they requested, just water worked out fine. For banana nut muffins, I made that a few months ago, maybe a year ago. Just water, no milk, worked out fine. So this morning I tried again with the blueberry muffin mix, Martha White blueberry muffin mix. Came out fine. So I just finished filming that. I'm waiting for that to upload, so that'll be coming on the channel pretty soon. I've noticed that the two I've made, the water only ones, the Jiffy muffins and the banana muffin ones, have gotten a lot of views. The Jiffy one's been there longer, and it's amazing. It's kind of heart-rending because people will write a comment and say, all I have is this muffin mix and water. I don't have any milk. I don't have any butter. Sometimes I don't have almost any food in the house. That always kills me. So I'm glad that maybe I can help a little bit with that. But it's amazing what you can make with water or alternate ingredients, and it can save you a lot of money. So that's coming up. So yesterday I tried something new. It's usually my farmer's market day, but I decided to do this car show up North County. Up to this point, I've been vending at the farmer's market, and I did a little like flea market craft fair a few months ago. So this was kind of a new experience. I've been to many car shows. I know how that all works. You have the cars outside, and then you have vendors inside, and there's food vendors. I thought, I'm going to go give it a try. Well, it was actually quite successful. The car show was quite small because it's the first time they've ever done it, and this is a small county, but they had a nice turnout of cars. There were about, I'd say, 10 vendors, and it was all day. I had to leave the house at 6:30. We had to be set up by 8 because that's when people were supposed to register, 8 to 8:30. And then at 1:30, 1:45, they gave out the raffle prizes, or they did the drawing for the raffle prizes. They had some really nice baskets, and they did best car men's choice and best car women's choice. And after that, everyone went home, and we kind of all packed up our things. What I liked about this one is that we didn't have to bring table and chairs. The table and chairs were already there, 2 6-foot-long tables and 2 chairs, and that was great because I'm usually dragging my table and chairs with me. But it gave me a lot more room, so I was able to spread out. One table was just bracelets and other jewelry, and the other table was plants. I had some succulents. I had some of that snake plant. I had a couple of spider plants and just some cactuses. and it was a lot of fun. I did pretty well. Actually, it was one of my better sales days, and there really was not a large population there. What sold a lot were the plants. As I said, I had that whole long lineup of plants there, and people like the plants. They like the cactuses. They like the succulents, because by the time I sell them, they're pretty big and they're pretty low maintenance. And I've been raising these things for years, so I know, where they're going to do best and how they're going to be their best self. So I was able to talk to people out about that. And two people each bought a bunch of them, and then other people maybe bought one or two. But I was amazed at how well those went. So if you're thinking of selling plants, I always thought the seedlings, like little seedlings of pumpkins or tomatoes, would go well, but not necessarily. Not everyone wants a vegetable garden. People want these house plants and these hardy plants also. So just an idea. And I was glad I had both the jewelry and the plant in, because the demographic for the car show was not really a jewelry demographic. They were more houseplant demographic, so that's okay. I did sell a couple of things, a bracelet and a necklace, but most of what I sold was definitely the plants, and that shot my sales up. One thing I did do though, however, and I'm wondering if this had anything to do with it, and I think on a basic karma level it did, even though it makes no sense from a rational level, is I decided, I talked to some of the vendors before we had started, because until everyone came in, until things kind of picked up, people were wandering around. And I identified two vendors who sold soap. And I thought, with the first $10 I make, I'm going to buy 2 bars of soap from these two other vendors. So I did. I got this honey oat, I think this is gel soap or something, whatever that kind of clear soap is. This was made by a lady who lives up there. Honey oat, I smelled it, it was good. And then I got this other soap from another vendor, also $5. And this is a different sort of soap. It has a really nice smell. It's called, what's it called? It's called Revive Spring. And what I liked about it is it has kind of a woodsy smell. It has pine in it or something. I like things like this with a little bit of pine in it. So both of those will be fun. And I'll tell you, oh, I see the ingredients are right under here. It has a peppermint tea, it has rosemary extract, bergamot lemon, wood, olive oil, sunflower oil, certified organic. Anyway, that's pretty cool. It smells wonderful. And the other one is wrapped up more, so I can't really smell it, but I think this one definitely has a stronger smell. So I'm looking forward to trying them both. And I noticed that after I went and bought these soaps, suddenly I started selling things. So I think I'm going to do that every time. I'm going to try to bless the other vendors, pick 2 vendors out and spend $5 at each booth, and just, make things happen. They were both so happy I purchased something, and I was happy to do that. And I love my soap. I like that it was locally made. So I have ordered a couple more things for the bracelet end of my booth. I realized I need more stands. Things look nice on the stand. I had gotten 2 one-level stands, which were fine, but I have necklaces, and the necklaces, I lay them out, but that's not the optimal. So I got one on Amazon with 3 levels, and I'll be able to hang the necklaces from the top and bracelets on the bottom. And I also got a couple other things. So when those come in, I'll show you. So I'm excited about this. I'm enjoying this new phase of my life. Believe it or not, I've wanted to do this for years and years and years, and it's finally happening, and it's very exciting. So that is the news from here right now. I'm looking at a heat wave, looking at getting my yard cleaned up, looking at doing more gardening. I have food bank volunteer work this week. And all I can say is right now all is well, and that's the best we can hope for, right? So thank you so much for watching, and hope your week is wonderful.